The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City still has 2 episodes left in Season 6, but the drama for Season 7 has already started behind the cameras. And trust me, what's brewing right now is bigger, messier, and more unpredictable than anything we've seen on screen this season. Because according to multiple insiders, the cast you think is coming back might not survive the biggest reset RHOLC has had since Jen Shah left the franchise. Before we dive into the major shakeups, the rumored demotions, the surprise full-timers, and the possible return that Andy Cohen himself had to publicly shut down, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the exclusive RHOSLC tea we're about to spill. All right, buckle up, because here's what's really happening. Rumors began swirling last week when an insider claimed producers were quietly planning a Season 7 refresh. Not a reboot, no, but a strategic reshuffling designed to shake up alliances and prepare the show for the long term. According to this insider, Bravo wants Season 7 to mirror the format of Real Housewives of Miami, with a core group of strong full-timers supported by 1 or 2 heavily featured friends of, who stir the pot just enough to keep the drama unpredictable. And shockingly, the insider says most of the Season 6 cast is safe, but not all. According to the leak, Bravo is absolutely keeping Bronwyn Newport, Lisa Barlow, Heather Gay, Angie Katsanevas, and Mary Cosby as full-timers. That's right, Mary Cosby is apparently staying put and is not going anywhere. The source even claims a brand new cast member has already been selected to join them as a full-time housewife, though her identity remains under wraps. But the real shock? The insider says that Meredith Marks and Whitney Rose are facing a possible demotion. Only one of them will stay full-time. The other, after years of snowflake holding, will reportedly be bumped down to friend status. The reason? Producers feel the dynamic between the women has become predictable, and they want to introduce fresh personalities before 2 major Season 7 departures, which the network already expects to happen after next year. Whether those departures are voluntary or encouraged is still unclear. Meanwhile, Britani Bateman is expected to remain a friend of the show, along with another new friend-level cast member. Bravo seems to be building a layered cast so storylines can flow around the main ensemble without burning out the central housewives. But here's where the drama hits another level. With Season 7 cast rumors exploding across social media, fans immediately began asking the question no one can seem to stop speculating about: will Jen Shah return? After all, her scheduled prison release date is December 10th. Perfect timing, right? Perfect opportunity for a shocking Season 7 re-entry, right? But Andy Cohen, clearly tired of the constant speculation, decided to end the conversation once and for all. On the December 2nd episode of Andy Cohen Live, he said it loud, clear, and without hesitation: Jen Shah is not coming back to RHOSLC. His exact words? She's not coming back to RHOSLC. She's not. I wish her all the best, but it won't be anything that I'm working on. I don't know that I could see Bravo working with her again. And that wasn't all. He added, can we put a period on the end of that sentence? A full stop, a final word, a definitive no. But even with Jen out of the picture, Season 7 already looks explosive, and it hasn't even filmed yet. Because the real question isn't about who's coming back. Season 7 isn't just shaping up to be another chapter in Salt Lake City drama. It's looking more like a full-scale power shift. And based on what insiders are whispering, the women who think they're safe might be the ones standing on the thinnest ice. Behind the scenes, producers reportedly believe that RHOSLC has reached a turning point. Season 6 delivered heavy storylines, unexpected alliances, and enough shocking moments to keep social media buzzing for weeks. But producers want Season 7 to feel unpredictable again. Fresh rivalries, new dynamics, and women who aren't afraid to push back when things get heated. And that's exactly why the rumored demotion between Meredith and Whitney is causing tremors in the fan base. Because both women bring something different. Meredith brings the cold, calculated glam and strategic shade. Whitney brings the messy, chaotic, truth-seeking energy that keeps storylines from going stale. So if one of them loses their snowflake, what does that mean for the balance of the group? According to the insider, Bravo is basing the decision on relevance and storyline direction. They want the Season 7 cast to feel explosive, women with connections, conflicts, and momentum. The question is, which one of them drives the story best right now? Some sources believe Meredith has grown distant from the rest of the cast, making it harder to integrate her naturally into group scenes. Others say Whitney's storylines have become repetitive, and producers are pushing for new energy in her place. Either way, only one woman is rumored to survive the cut. But while the main cast faces major shifts, the friend of lineup is also getting a makeover. Britani Bateman is expected to stay as a friend, and producers reportedly want a second friend of who can stir conflict without dominating episodes. The strategy is simple. Use friends like wildcards, easy to pull forward or push back depending on how storylines unfold. And then there's the biggest behind-the-scenes question. Why is Bravo preparing for multiple cast exits after Season 7? According to The Insider, the network already assumes a couple of women won't be returning once the season wraps. Whether those are voluntary departures, contract decisions, or fallout from Season 7 drama, no one knows. But it explains why Bravo wants to introduce fresh faces now, women who can carry the show into its long-term future. Meanwhile, Jen Shah's name keeps floating around despite Andy Cohen's firm absolutely not. Every time her release date comes up, fans start questioning whether Bravo would ever risk bringing her back for ratings. But Andy made it crystal clear, Jen won't return to RHOSLC. He wished her well, but he refused to give even a hint of possibility. He doesn't see Bravo working with her again. Full stop. Still, the timing is wild. As Jen re-enters public life, the show is experiencing its biggest cast shift since she left. And whether intentional or not, her absence is shaping the entire direction of the franchise. Season 7 is set to begin filming with a cast split between veterans fighting to keep their place, a new housewife ready to cause disruption, and a production team determined to rebuild the franchise before the drama of next year's departures hits. And that means one thing. Season 7 may be the most unpredictable season since the show began. What fans don't see, and what makes this entire Season 7 rebuild even more dramatic, is the quiet tension happening off-camera. Because once rumors of the potential demotions hit social media, multiple cast members started scrambling behind the scenes. Some reached out to producers, some reached out to each other, and some didn't say a word, choosing silence over confrontation. That silence is loud. According to production sources, the moment the cast list leaks began circulating, every housewife suddenly became aware of one thing. No one is safe anymore, not in Salt Lake City, not with Bravo's new long-term strategy. And that's when the alliances began to shift. Because Season 6 left the group divided in ways producers didn't expect. Fights weren't just personal, they were strategic. Not every cast member was pulling the same weight, not every storyline was holding audience attention, and not every feud had the fire Bravo wanted heading into a new year. Behind the scenes, both women are said to be aware of the rumors. And while neither has confirmed anything publicly, production sources say both of them are preparing. Preparing for what, though? That depends on which one gets the snowflake and which one loses it. Adding another layer to the drama is the fact that Britani Bateman is staying on as a friend, a decision producers reportedly made because they believe she has more story left to explore, but not quite enough to anchor as a full-time housewife. And then there's the second friend being introduced. Someone new, someone untested, someone producers believe could stir up conflict in small but explosive ways. A friend of who could push buttons without the pressure of carrying a full storyline. But the real behind-the-scenes power play is Bravo anticipating cast exits after Season 7. That means Season 7 isn't just another season, it's a transitional one. It's the setup for a new long-term cast structure. It's the rebuild before the next major wave of departures hits the franchise. And because of that, producers are picking their full-timers very, very carefully. Meanwhile, Andy Cohen shutting down the Jen Shah rumors only adds to the suspense. Because even though he made it clear, painfully clear, that Jen is not returning, the timing of her release shadows the entire production. Her name still trends, her drama still lingers, her absence still shapes the future of the show. As whispers of the Season 7 shakeup grow louder, the pressure inside the RHOSLC circle is becoming impossible for the cast to ignore. And that pressure isn't coming from fans, it's coming from production. Because for the first time since the show debuted, Bravo is tightening the reins and expecting every housewife to bring more substance, more conflict, and more authenticity than ever before. Behind closed doors, producers reportedly held multiple internal meetings about the direction of the franchise. According to insiders, the network wants RHOSLC to continue rising, not just surviving, especially after how unexpectedly strong Season 4 and Season 5 performed. But Season 6 changed the tone. The show became heavier, deeper, more chaotic, and producers realized they need a cast that can handle that shift without burning out. And that's where the tension starts. Every housewife knows Season 7 is a test, a quiet, unspoken audition for their future with Bravo. And while some women are stepping into that challenge with confidence, others are said to be nervous, especially those who already heard whispers about possible demotion. Because once the cast rumor about Meredith and Whitney broke, it sent a shockwave through Salt Lake City. Suddenly, every woman began questioning their own position on the show. Suddenly, every storyline mattered. Suddenly, every scene filmed during the reunion became more important than the drama itself. The stakes have never been higher. And producers are allegedly watching everything: how the women show up, how they interact, how they handle conflict, how invested they are in filming, and even how they connect with fans online. Meanwhile, Bravo's decision to bring in a new full-time housewife is more calculated than viewers think. According to insiders, this new woman has strong connections, an unpredictable personality, and a lifestyle that naturally bumps into the other cast members. Not a random pick, not a safe pick. A woman producers believe can break up stagnant friendships and expose alliances that are quietly falling apart. But there's a second layer to this casting shift that fans aren't talking about enough. The rumor that Bravo expects a couple of Season 7 departures after next year tells us one thing. Season 7 isn't just about who stays or goes, it's about who can carry the show's future. And with that long-term vision in mind, the friend of roles become even more important. Britani Bateman staying on isn't random. Bravo sees potential, but they're testing her. The new friend of being introduced? Same thing. Producers want floaters who can evolve into full-time housewives if the next wave of exits happens exactly as expected. But here's the twist. Some cast members already suspect who Bravo expects to leave after Season 7, and those suspicions are intensifying tensions behind the scenes. Private conversations, strategic social media posts, shifting friendships. Suddenly, everyone is trying to protect their place, their storyline, their future, all while the Jen Shah noise continues swirling outside the bubble. Even though Andy Cohen shut the door completely, saying Jen will not return, that Bravo isn't interested, that she's not part of any plan, her name still haunts the franchise. Every time her release date is mentioned, fans drag her back into the conversation. And the more fans demand answers, the more tension it puts on the cast currently holding the snowflakes. Because no matter what Andy says, some women privately fear she could overshadow their storylines the moment she steps back into public life. That fear? It's fueling the quiet competitiveness already tearing at the Season 7 cast list. One thing is certain. Salt Lake City isn't just dealing with drama on screen anymore. The real war is happening behind the scenes, in casting decisions, private messages, unexpected alliances, and strategic silences. The energy on the reunion set shifted the moment the women stepped onto the Grease-inspired stage. Jewel tones shimmered under the lights, pastel draping flowed like temple curtains, and every snowflake holder walked in knowing tonight would change everything. Heather scanned the couch like she was mapping out enemies. Bronwyn sat poised, calm on the surface but with tension in her shoulders that gave away the storm building inside her. Whitney tried to steady her breath. Lisa looked determined to defend her image. Meredith stayed statuesque, unreadable. Angie's eyes darted between everyone, ready to strike the moment her name came up. And Andy sensed it too, the kind of tension that usually ends careers, friendships, and alliances in one night. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so you never miss any of the chaos that shakes Salt Lake City. The reunion hadn't even officially started, and Bronwyn already fired the first shot with a sarcastic smile. Should we skip to the part where everyone lies about each other? The sting hit instantly. Heather locked in like a laser. No one's lying except the person talking right now. The entire couch inhaled at once. Lisa blinked slowly like she saw disaster approaching. Meredith crossed her legs with deliberate calm. Angie smirked, as if she had been waiting for this exact conflict to bubble over. Andy tried to begin his questions, but Heather leaned forward first. If we're really doing this, then let's talk about who was leaking to the blogs. A visible wave rolled through the cast. Whitney looked down like she knew more than she wanted to say. Bronwyn exhaled sharply. Meredith tilted her head with a knowing stare. Lisa instantly got defensive. I don't leak. Unlike others. Heather raised an eyebrow, almost daring anyone to speak. Whitney finally looked up, voice soft but loaded. If we're going to talk about leaks, we're not pointing at the right person. Andy turned immediately. Then who should we point at? Whitney stared across the couch with a look that made Heather shift uneasily. The person who pretends to be the most honest. Heather froze. Bronwyn tilted her chin. Lisa whispered, "Oh my gosh." The tension thickened. Angie broke the silence. Everyone here leaked something. The difference is intent. Bronwyn laughed without humor. Don't include me in that. Meredith added, some leaks were strategic, not malicious. That line set off the couch. Lisa sprang forward. Strategic? Who strategizes with bloggers? Who does that? The argument erupted before Andy regained control. He turned to Heather and Bronwyn. Your tension didn't start during the season. Production told me it started months earlier. The room fell silent again. Whitney widened her eyes. Angie nodded as if she'd known this. Heather swallowed hard. Bronwyn didn't blink. Andy continued. Heather, did you tell producers you didn't want Bronwyn at the reunion? Heather's face broke for a split second. That's not what I said. Bronwyn leaned in. Say it. Own it. Andy paused and shifted the conversation toward the moment everything collapsed, the final cast dinner. Every woman straightened because each of them carried a piece of the secret that exploded that night. Something said off camera. Something shared in confidence. Something that wasn't supposed to reach the reunion stage, but did. Heather pressed her hands together. Whitney looked away. Bronwyn's jaw clenched. Meredith took a slow breath, almost bracing herself. Andy laid out the question fans had been begging to know. At that dinner, one of you revealed something that changed the dynamic of this cast. Something about loyalty. Heather closed her eyes for a moment. Bronwyn stared at her like she was waiting for justice. Whitney's lips trembled. Angie sat upright. Lisa shifted uncomfortably. The reveal was coming. Heather finally spoke, voice thin but steady. I said something I shouldn't have. Something about someone's marriage. Bronwyn's eyes flashed. Whitney stiffened. Lisa let out a soft gasp. Meredith whispered, This is going to get bad. Andy pressed. Whose marriage? Heather hesitated, and the air thickened until it felt suffocating. Whitney whispered, Don't. Bronwyn answered for her. She meant mine. The couch froze. Bronwyn continued. She told the group I was separating, off camera, before I had even told my family. Gasps erupted. Andy's face softened with shock. Heather whispered, I didn't mean it that way. Bronwyn didn't budge. You didn't mean it, but you said it. You used my pain as a storyline. Whitney covered her mouth. Lisa looked furious on Bronwyn's behalf. Angie shifted uncomfortably. Meredith watched quietly, waiting for the fallout. Heather tried to explain. I made a mistake, but I wasn't the only one talking behind backs that night. All eyes moved to Whitney. She instantly paled. Heather, don't, Heather continued. Whitney said something too. Whitney looked at Andy with desperation. This is going to get twisted, Heather said. Whitney told us she heard something about Bronwyn too, something worse. Bronwyn stared, voice breaking. What did you say? Whitney looked like she wanted to disappear. I said there were rumors. Rumors about who you were spending time with. The room shattered again. Lisa gasped. Angie leaned forward like she wanted to catch every detail. Meredith's expression stayed still, calculating every reaction. Bronwyn's shock quickly shifted into fury. You all talked about my marriage at a group dinner? While pretending to support me? Heather whispered. We were trying to understand what was going on. Bronwyn shook her head. No, you were trying to destroy me before the season even ended. Whitney's voice trembled. It wasn't meant to hurt you. Bronwyn fired back. Then why did you say it on camera? Andy stepped in. There's another layer. Production told me someone else brought receipts. Every woman froze. The air snapped. Someone had evidence. Lisa stiffened. Meredith shifted. Angie held her breath. Whitney's heartbeat seemed audible. Heather looked confused. Bronwyn narrowed her eyes. Andy turned slowly. Angie, it was you. Angie's lips parted slightly. The others reacted instantly. Lisa whispered, "Oh no." Whitney muttered, "Not again." Heather said, "Of course." Bronwyn looked ready to explode. Angie spoke carefully. "I didn't want to, but I wasn't going to sit there and let everyone lie." Andy asked, "What did you bring?" Angie reached under her seat and pulled out a small white envelope. Heather groaned. Lisa rolled her eyes. Whitney looked terrified. Meredith straightened like royalty preparing for war. Bronwyn didn't move. Angie held the envelope in both hands. "This is a message someone in this room sent to a blogger. About Bronwyn. About the marriage. And about something else none of you have admitted yet." The room erupted into whispers. Heather said, "It wasn't me." Whitney shook her head. Lisa snapped, "I don't message bloggers." Meredith calmly said, "I don't need to send messages." Bronwyn whispered, "Open it." Andy took the envelope from Angie and slid out the single printed page. The audience fell completely silent. His eyes moved back and forth across the page. His eyebrows lifted. His expression shifted from surprise to disbelief to something heavier. He looked up slowly. "This message," Andy said, "was sent by someone sitting on this couch. And if this is real, it's going to change more than this reunion."